Kideaters vs. Zoo BoyZ, Chapter 11. Can't see the forest for all the trees. The boys didn't intentionally run away or sneak off from their chaperone. They were just chasing butterflies or something that was close resemblance to butterflies. The intoxicating bits of glitter the insect casted into the air lured them off in different directions. As each boy began to regain their right mind, they realized they were alone. Ronnie's thoughts were scattered. He began to wonder if Quasi could still feed Tina milk, or if Tina was too old for just milk. He pulled her out of his pocket and crouched down to admire her. The stripe on her back seemed to fade. He was forced to consider that maybe she wasn't a tiger after all. No doubt, she was smaller than any big cat he had ever seen. Without a doubt, she was way smaller than a tiger cub. He was still just a little too high for deep, down-to-earth thoughts. He feared Tina might even try to eat Quasi, starting with her nipples. He realized Quasi may no longer be producing milk. He knew females usually only produced milk when pregnant. Lactation is driven hormonally. However, if Quasi, being the mutation she was given shots of specific hormones, she may produce milk all the time. Then it fully dawned on him. Oh, whoa, Quasi could have babies. Is it possible? It is a possibility. He said it out loud, and only then did he completely realize no one was around to hear him. He returned to the thought, are there baby Quasis on the island? It was a nice distracting train of thought to keep him from feeling so alone. He looked down at Tina, cupped in his hands, and comforted her and himself. It's gonna be all right. It's okay. We gonna be all right. He looked around, making sure there was no harm in sight, then laid her on the ground, telling her, find something to eat, girl. I don't know when we'll eat again. You can do it. Hunt. He was sure the bits of meat from the stew he sneaked to her in his pocket was not enough. He followed Tina, the tiny tiger, as she searched for food. Surely she could find some bugs, frogs, snails, worms, or any little thing that would provide her with some protein. Dave was secure about being alone. Plus, it offered him a chance to exaggerate stories of what he went through while all by himself on the island. He tried to speak, but the effects of the spitting tadpole thing were still preventing him. He drank the milk Major gave him, but didn't think it helped. Jeremy was positive he'd find his friends. He put his energy into the search rather than into fear, anxiety, and worry. John recalled being alone on Zoo Island before, separated from the pack. He used those memories to keep his courage up. Back in the aviary, Major Hightower was with Quasi as she gathered her thoughts and gathered the items to be put back into the backpack. The hardest thing to find was the small video camera. She talked to Quasi, trying not to be distracted by the strange combo of a dog and Komodo dragon mix. She thought maybe she was just having a bad trip as an after effect to the glittering dust. She asked Quasi, as if expecting an answer, "Can you search? Search for the boys." Quasi put her nose to the ground and began to do just that. She yelled, Wait for me, girl." She scrambled to grab the last few items, shoved them into the backpack, and ran after her new trailing partner. Hightower hoped she got everything, but There was no time to double-check. Elsewhere on the island, Jeremy wondered where to start in his search for his friends. He didn't want to yell and attract dangerous predators. He kept his eyes straight ahead and began to walk softly. Immediately, he was hit in the back of the head with something cold, wet, and slimy. He heard Dave shout, "I got you good, dude! Ha! And I got it on video!" Dave was surprised and thankful that he got his ability to speak back. Jeremy wasn't laughing. He reached around and slid what Dave threw off the back of his neck. He looked at it. It was a frog. He was about to throw it back, but was quickly hit on the side of the head with another one. He yelled, "What in the world? Did you just throw a curveball?" Dave answered, "Nope, a curved frog." Jeremy grabbed the second one also and threw each of them back toward Dave. His chuck was a little off. It must have fallen short. It didn't make contact. Ronnie's voice broke out, "No, I threw that one." Dave interjected, "You liar, I'm the one." Before he could finish the sentence, he was hit directly in the face. He protested, "Hey, not on the front of the face. That's against the rules. Plus, I got the camera." He used his shirt to clear off the frog and what the frog left behind. He checked the camera, but it was unharmed. He was thrilled about grabbing the video camera from Hightower Supplies and ecstatic about being able to use it to film this fight. The three boys were searching the ground for more frogs or anything else that would be good to throw. John was hiding nearby. He had a full supply of frogs to choose from. A small puddle where they congregated was right at his feet. The other boys didn't see him yet. He threw 3 more, 1 for each of his friends. He knew they made contact by their reaction. He ducked back down, and they still had no clue that he was there. You see, this frog fight was extraordinary because the frogs would flip midair to land safely on whatever you threw them at. Kind of like how a cat always lands on its feet. The battle went on for a while until the supply of frogs dwindled. Sometimes the same frog was thrown back and forth several times, but their surplus of frogs still came to a halt. They weren't sure why or how, but it finally brought this civil battle game to an end, and they each wanted to know who won. Because Dave took the camera from Major Hightower's bag, John came out of hiding, recommending that they watch the playback. They all gathered around Dave and watched the small built-in monitor screen. Ronnie was the first to notice something strange. He asked, "Anyone else see that?" "Stop it and back up a little bit." "I'm in control, Ronnie," Dave reminded Ronnie of his superior position. He was in full control of the camera, and yet he did just as Ronnie said. They all watched intently. David added, "Oh, wait, I can slow it down too." While watching the slow-motion replay, they all noticed some other flying object so fast their eyes couldn't see them. The winged things were plucking frogs out of the air as they flew by. Jeremy exclaimed, "Well, no wonder Dave wasn't hit by a lot of frogs. I was throwing. That frog eater was grabbing them. No fair." The disagreement was just starting to form when a loud, fast crunching and stomping filled the air. John said, "Watch your 6, men." He always wanted to say that. They turned to look, but also just instinctively ran to in the opposite direction of the deafening sound waves. They didn't even see what was chasing them. All they saw was the forest and its trees. Now go to part B.